We are starting with the second class of O-level math. We are focusing on numbers. That's another name for arithmetic. In the first class, what we have studied, let's just go through it. In lecture number 1, this is what we have studied so far. We talked about decimals, fractions, and percentages. We talked about ratio method. And in percentage questions, we talked about case number 1 and case number 2. Now, what is case number 1, case number 2? Let's recap. First of all, starting from the basic, and that is something that we will do every single time. Decimals, fractions, percentage, this is what we went through. And then percentage means out of 100. 20% is 20 out of 100. So we converted a percentage into decimals, into fractions. And this is what we were doing. And then we were talking about ratio method. If I travel 1 kilometer and I'm taking a time of 15 minutes, 2 kilometers will be completed in 30 minutes. 3 kilometers, 45 minutes, 4 kilometers, 60 minutes. So this is an example of direct proportionality. And then if we have to solve questions, we do it this way. Kilometers and minutes. Kilometer is a measure, is a unit of distance. A minute is a unit of time. 1 kilometer, 15 minutes, 10 kilometer, t minutes. So we just cross multiply like this and we get our answer. There is a pattern to it. That's what maths is all about. Distance in kilometers, time in minutes. 1 kilometer, 15 minutes, now 300 minutes. How many kilometers did that person travel? Again, direct proportionality, this is how we get it. What is direct proportionality? One value increases, the other value increases. One value decreases, the other value decreases. And then we talked about percentage problems. And there was a small error in the class at the end where we got disconnected. So we will be continuing from there. Percentage problem. There are 3 terminologies that we will use. First of all, original price, whether it's original price or original quantity. Final price, final quantity. Percentage, whether we are talking about an increase or decrease. Percentage increase, this is something like talking about profit. Percentage decrease, we are talking about loss. Case number 1, find percentage profit. Original price is given, final price is given, and we are asking for the percentage change. Now, 2 kinds of questions are possible. Now, let me underline it further. The first type of question is that in which the original price is given, the final price is given. The final price is more than the original. That means this is a question of profit. The difference between selling price and cost price. Selling price is the name for final price. Cost price is the name for original price. The difference is profit. So therefore, if they're asking for percentage profit, this is change divided by original into 100. And that's how we get this answer. So the difference is $30 and the original is $120. And we multiply it with 100, and this is the answer that we get, which comes out to be a 25% profit. So now people, this was the first case, but the first example. Now let me write it over here that we are talking about a scenario of profit, and profit is basically final price minus the original price, that is equals to profit. Now, case number 2, case number 1, again, we are finding percentage, but we are talking about work example 2. And over here, we are talking about a loss. And when we talk about a loss, that is the original price is more minus the final price. It's the other way around. Now, it's your choice. How do you want to go about it? Whether we are talking about profit or whether we are talking about loss, it's the difference between 2 values. Which 2 values? The final and the original. When we are talking about profit, it's common sense. The final value is greater than the original value. If we are talking about the loss, it's the other way around. Original is greater than final. Acha. Now, the original price is 800. There is a fault in that gadget, in that device. And final is $600. So the difference comes out to be $200. So therefore, what we do is that we find the value of loss, that is $200. That's right over here. Let me underline it. And therefore, the percentage loss is change divided by original into 100. And that's how we get this answer. And this is the summary of this. Now I have gone over case number 1. And now can you acknowledge, is this all good, all okay? So we went over class 1 and we went over case 1. So is this all good? Just acknowledge in the group or acknowledge it individually, whichever one you're comfortable with. Okay. Now let's move on to the second case. Case number 2. Now, what is it that we are looking for over here? Over here, in case number 2, we are looking for the final value, the final price. So what we are looking for, the objective is find the final value or the final price. Now, this value could be about quantity also. This could be about price also. Now, let's get started with the third example. So this is the first example of case 2, but the third example in the series. Now, what is the question over here? The question is $500. That is the piece of art, a painting. We want to sell it at a profit of 10%. What should be my selling price? So now the first step, calculate percentage of cost price. So 10% of $500, that is $50. Since we are talking about profit, naturally, whenever it's a scenario of profit, so now the rule is whenever we are talking about profit, naturally selling price will be greater than cost price. So therefore, selling price is cost price plus profit. That is the rule that we should remember. So this is the cost price, that is 500. This is the profit, which is 50. And it's also written over here because we have studied it a day before. So therefore, the selling price is $550. Step 1, calculate percentage. Step 2, use this equation. That's as simple as this. Work example 4. Now it says the original price is $500 again. And we are talking about the discount of 20%. What is the selling price? Step 1, once again, that is percentage of cost price. We always calculate the percentage of cost price. So 20% of 500, that comes out to be $100. And now this is a loss. So when we are talking about a loss, let me just make some gap over here. And like this, and let me resize it. So now over here, when we talk about a loss, that means cost price is greater than selling price. Therefore, selling price is cost price minus loss. This is the equation that we will use. So step 1 is this much, $100 is the loss. What is the original price? The cost price, that is $500. What is the final price? That is the selling price, that equals to loss. I have rearranged this equation. I think this is easier for you people to remember. Just remember, selling price is cost price minus loss, and the final answer is $400. That's where we stopped in lecture number 1. So we took a good 11-12 minutes to recap everything that we have studied. And let me draw a box over here for case number 2. So now for case number 2, in which we are given the cost price and we are given the percentage, and we are finding, and what are we looking for? We are looking for the selling price. Cost price is like the original price and selling price is like the final price. Now, there are two steps involved. The first step, whether we are talking about loss or profit, it doesn't make a difference. Calculate percentage value of the cost price of the original price. And then this is step one and step two. There are two options. The first option, if we are talking about profit and whether we are talking about loss, the rule is pretty basic. Selling price is cost price plus profit. Remember this rule. And loss is selling price is cost price minus loss. If you want me to write it in the original and the final wording, final price is original plus profit, and selling price is again final price. That is original minus the loss value. Of course, when we talk about percentage value of original, that could be profit, that could be loss, and this is the equation that we will follow. Now, is this all good, all clear to you? Acknowledge it in the group or individually, doesn't make a difference. Now, we have done case 2 using one method. Let's try case 2 once again using a new method. So we are visiting case 2, in which the objective is find final price or final value, or for that matter, that is the same thing as the selling price. But now we are using a new method. And this method is related to the ratio method or the unitary method. Now, how will we work it out? Now, in order to get started, let me first give you the example of 100. 100 is a number that we use in percentage questions. If we talk about increase versus if we talk about decrease, if I'm talking about a 5% increase, then 100% plus 5% becomes 105%. This value becomes 105. That means a value of 100 due to the increase becomes 105. Let me give you another example. 100% plus 12%, that becomes 112%. Since the unit is the same, that is percentage, I'm simply adding this. What is happening over here? A value of 100 is becoming 112 because of this increase of 12%. So it's simply addition. So let me write simply add percentage value to 100. And now when we talk about decrease, what is happening? For example, if I'm talking about a 5% decrease, that is 100% minus 5%, that comes out to be 95%. That means a value of 100 became 95 because of this decrease of 5%. Similarly, if I have a question regarding a 15% decrease, 15% loss, then 100% minus 15%, that comes out to be 85%. Again, a value of 100 is becoming 85 because of this decrease of 15%. So now I can write simply subtract percentage value from 100. Over here, the word is 200. We are adding 200. Over here, we are subtracting from 100. So now let's continue with what we were doing. We were talking about K when we want to find the final price, the value of something. There is a new method which I'll be teaching now. I'm starting with the basics, the foundation of that new method. What is that new method? That is 100 is a number that is used in percentage questions. If we talk about an increase, so a 5% increase means just take 100 and add 5 to it. A 12% means just take 100 and add 12 to it. So we simply add the percentage value to 100. So let me just take it down over here and let me write it like this. So simply add this value to 100. So now this simply was the y got carried out, and this is what we are doing right now. When we talk about decrease, percentage decrease, so we are talking about a 5% decrease. So 100 minus 5, that is 95. A 15% decrease, 100 minus 15 is 85. So what we do is that we simply take the percentage value and subtract it from 100. That is what we are doing. Now, how will we use it? Now, the rule is that whenever we have to use the ratio method, we will make two columns, one for original and the other for final. Again, emphasizing it over and over again. Original is the same thing as cost price. Final is the same thing as selling price. So now two columns should be there. Now let me go to this question which was previously explained. That was worked example 3. And we already know the answer. What was worked example 3? There is a $500 piece of art, a painting, and we want to sell it at a profit of 10%. What should be my selling price? So this was one way. $50 was 10% of 500, and we add it to the cost price. The final answer is 550. Now let's focus on this. So over here, if I want to start with worked example 3, so case number 2, and then worked example 3, the cost price is $500. The percentage profit is 10%. And I'll follow this method, the ratio method. So let me just write it over here. What goes in the ratio method? Basically, we want two columns like this: original, final, original, final. Now let me copy this and let me paste it over here. Now, first of all, if something is worth $100, because of this 10% profit, 10% increase, the value would be 110. Do you agree with this? Write it in your WhatsApp. If something is worth 100, the basic price of anything in percentage, we take it as 100. Because of the increase, because of the profit of 10%, it will become 110. That means if I have a value of $500, it will now become a value, let's call it W. Now, let's look at this thing. Worked example 3, I need a little bit fast response from you people on the WhatsApp. Worked example 3, I'm explaining a new concept. This is using the ratio method. One column for original, one column for final, one column for cost price, one column for selling price. The question is this, that is, it's about cost price of $500, percentage profit of 10%. What should be Why are you not using $550? Because beta, that was the answer. We are not using the answer over here. This is the answer to this question. What was the question all about? $500 cost price. We want to sell it at a profit of 10%. What should be my selling price? So why should I use the answer? This is the answer that I'll be getting. So why should I use the answer? So now let me explain it again. This is what is given over here. We are given, focus on this, cost price of $500, percentage profit of 10%. We are looking for the selling price. Now, is it clear? So now $100 value will become 110. That is because of this simply add and simply subtract concept. And then we have a $500 value becoming W. Now let's cross multiply. So now we will write W into 100 is equals to 500 into 110. So W equals to 500 into 110 divided by 100. Cancel out the zeros over here. So this zero gets cancelled out with these two zeros. This is 5 over here. This is 110. So 5 into 11 is 55, and then add a 0. So the answer is $550. That is the selling price, which will give me a percentage profit of 10%. Now acknowledge this. So now that's how, whichever method you find easier, just use that method. This is the unitary method that we are using. And before that, we use the two-step method. Now, let me write down the information for worked example 4. What is worked example 4? Let's scroll up and see. This is worked example 4. The original price is $500. There is a discount of 20%. What should be the final price? Now, let's go over this method once again, the previous method. We found the percentage of cost price. We found 20% of $500. That came out to be $100. Since we are talking about a loss, selling price is cost price minus loss. Just remember this. Loss, selling price is cost price minus loss. Cost price is $500. Loss is $100. The final selling price is $400. Now let's do it using this method. Now let me write again the data first of all. That cost price is $500 again. There is a discount, a loss of 20%, and we are interested in finding the selling price. What should it be? So now let me write this thing over here, the original final, the rule. If the original value is 100, the final value will be 80. Does that make sense? Because of this 20% loss. Again, when we are talking about increase, simply add percentage value to 100. When we talk about a decrease, simply subtract percentage value from 100. That is what we do. So therefore, $100 value became 80. I think this is all good, all clear. Therefore, a $500 value will become Y. So now cross multiply like this. Now cross multiply like this. So therefore, the rule is Y into 100 is equals to 80 into 500. Make Y the subject. That is 80. That is 500 divided by 100. Cancel off the zeros. These two zeros gets cancelled out. This is 8. This is 5. That is 40. Add a 0. So Y comes out to be $400. That is the selling price because there was a discount of 20%. Therefore, the cost price is more, selling price is less. Compare it with worked example 3. There was a cost price of 500. The profit was 10%. Therefore, the selling price is more. So again, I'm reiterating the fact, whenever we are talking about a profit, That means selling price minus cost price is profit. Whenever we are talking about a loss, therefore cost price minus selling price equals to loss. Or we can write selling price is cost price plus profit, or we can write selling price is cost price minus loss. So remember these two rules, this one and this one. Now is this method all good, all clear? This is case number 2. Now we are talking about case number 3. In case number 3, our focus is on finding the original price, the original value. It could be price, it could be value. We are given the selling price, we are given the percentage, whether it's a profit percentage, it's an increase percentage, or we are given a loss percentage, a decrease percentage. Now, to make life easier, I'll just explain it using one method, and that is the ratio method. So now I'm focusing on worked example 5 of the series. And now let's say I have the cost price unknown. There is a profit of 10%, and then the selling price is $880. Now, how do you think should I solve this? I need some hints from you. This time, the cost price is unknown. The profit is 10%. The selling price is $880. Now, I'm giving you the hint over here. Are you getting the hint how to work it out? Yes, it's again the same thing. Original price, final price, cost price, selling price. Just follow this rule. Now, some of you, they might be asking, they might be thinking, and some of you have written it, that is calculate 10% of 880. That is perfectly wrong. The reason being that we always calculate percentage of the cost price. We can never calculate the percentage of selling price because a profit on the cost price gave us this. So how can we take percentage of $880? That's not possible. So let me first explain it the easy way, and then I'll explain the extended way. So now, first of all, 100 value, because of this profit of 10%, will become 110. Therefore, this time the original cost price is unknown. Let's call it W. And the final price is $880. So let's cross multiply. And this is W into 110 equals to 100 into 880. And we will also double check the answer. Therefore, W is 100 into 880 divided by 110. Now this 0 gets cancelled with this. This 0 gets cancelled. No, it does not get cancelled. So therefore, first of all, only 1 0 is getting cancelled. And then what else can we do? So now we will divide and we will write, let's take this 11 and let's divide it with 88. So that is 80 over here. Now this 80 into 10, W comes out to be $800, which makes perfect sense. Why? Because the cost price was less. There was a profit of 10% and that gave us $880. So let's double check. Now the following working is for double checking purposes only. 10% of $800, the cost price, that is 10% of 800. That comes out to be $80. Therefore, we have the selling price as cost price plus profit. Cost price is 800, profit is 80, and that is our exact answer, which is $880. Is this method clear? Again, we are using the ratio method. The only difference is that in the previous example, the two examples, we were given the original price, we found the final price. This time the final price is given, we are finding the original price. That's all about it. We have the column of cost price, we have the column of selling price. 100 became 110, W, which is unknown, became 880. Again, the ratio, the cross multiplication method is there, basic paper one type of question, and this is just for double checking. Now, let's write down the answer. Is it all good? Now let's do another worked example. This time, this is worked example 6. The cost price is unknown. The loss percentage, the discount percentage is 20%. And the selling price in this case is, let's say, let me do some calculation, and this is $480. What is the cost price? Again, I'm pasting it. Original, final, this working is there. If I'm talking about a loss of 20%, that means a $100 value becomes 80. 100 minus 20 is 80. And if the original value is Y, it is becoming $480. Again, ratio method is there, and that is what we are working out. So now if I cross multiply, I'll take this 100, I'll multiply it with 480. I'll take this 80, I'll multiply it with Y. So therefore, Y into 80 equals to 100 into 480. So now let's make Y the subject. That is 100. That is 480 divided by 80. Let's do the simplification. The zeros get cancelled out. And then we have 8 ones are, 8 six are. So this is 6 into 100. Therefore, Y comes out to be $600. That is the answer for this particular part. Again, let me double check it for you. If I double check it, 20% of 600, 20% of 600. The zeros gets cancelled out. 20 into 6, that is $120. That is a loss. Therefore, the selling price is cost price minus loss. The cost price is 600 minus 120. That's a big zero over here. Let me make it smaller. Minus 120. That comes out to be $480. And that's all good and double check. Now, I hope this method is all good, all clear. Again, acknowledge, and then I'll explain to you what the longer method is. And I have made it much, much easier for you by this short method. Okay. Now, case number 3, using the longer method. So case 3, finding the original value, the original price, the original quantity, or we can say the cost price using the algebraic way. Now I'll do the same examples as before, and let's see which one do you find easier. What was worked example 5? That's right over here. So let me just copy paste from here. So this is the data that I need. And let me paste it over here. Okay. Now in algebra, it's about using X, an unknown value. Let the cost price be X dollars. There is a profit of 10%. So 10% of X, that becomes 10 over 100 into X. And then we know that selling price is cost price plus profit. Selling price is 880, cost price is X, profit is 10 over 100X. Now there are two choices. Either I can work in fractions or I can work in decimals. That's your choice. If I work in fraction, I'll write 880. That equals to 100x plus 10x over 100. This is simply taking LCM. 880 is 110x over 100. Therefore, x comes out to be 880 into 100 divided by 110. X comes out to be $800, just like before. If I talk about decimals, I'll write 800 is equals to x plus 0.1x. So this thing over here, this is 0.1x. So therefore, what will I write? 800 is equals to 1.1x. Therefore, x is 800 divided by, actually that's 880. So let me correct it. This is not 800, this is 880. So this is 880, this is 880, this is 880 divided by 1.1, and the value of x again comes out to be $800. Now, double check this working with the working of example 5 over here. Which one is easier, the ratio method or the algebra method? Yes, I want to hear it from you on the WhatsApp. Which method is easier, the ratio method or the algebraic method? Algebra is writing down an equation. It's very conceptual, but definitely I know the answer from before, which you have already written, all of you. That is definitely the ratio method. So now this is just to give you an idea. Similarly, let me also do worked example, the other one, 6, using the same method, so that you have everything on record. Yes, you know both the method, but definitely you should try the one which is easier. And let me write it over here. So now this is like this over here. So now again, let me write this value. Let the cost price be X dollars. Somebody has written, can you explain the algebraic method again? Yes, I'm doing work example 6 using algebra. Let the cost price be X dollars. 20% of X dollars, that is 20 over 100X. Since we are talking about loss, we know that the selling price is cost price minus loss. Selling price is $480. That is cost price minus loss. Again, we have two options. You want me to do it using fraction? I can comfortably do it. You want me to do it using decimals? I'm good at that also. So therefore, we have 480 is equals to 100x, and there is an x over here. 100x minus 20x divided by 100. This is after taking LCM. 480 is equals to 80x over 100. Therefore, x is 480 into 100 divided by 80. That comes out to be $600. If I work in decimals, I'll write 480 is equals to x minus this value 20x over 100. That is 0.2x. So therefore, 480 is equals to 1x minus 0.2x. That is 0.8x. Therefore, x is 480 divided by 0.8. The value of x again comes out to be $600. So this is another example of the algebraic method. Definitely the ratio method is easier. So now we have completed the whole of percentage over here. So now conceptually, We are all done with all the types of percentage questions. So now let me recap what we have studied so far. There are basically, let me draw some lines over here. So this is 1, this is 2, and another one over here, a green one. And let me draw a 4th one that's over here. We are dealing with cost price original. We are dealing with final. We are dealing with percentage, whether it's loss or profit. Now, what is case number 1? Now, let me first of all delete the line over here. Let me push it to the corner over here. This is the summary. And this is like this. And then profit and then loss. Now, first of all, if I talk about case 1 versus case 2 versus case 3. Now, in case 1, we had the original, we had the final, and we find the percentage profit or loss by this formula. Change divided by original into 100. That is what we use. In case number 2, what is happening? We have the original, we have the percentage, and then let me write it. We use the ratio method, and that ratio method is just becoming cost price, selling price, 100 becoming something, and that value becoming something. So let me just write it like this. We will use the ratio method. And in case number 3, we have the original is not given, the final is given, the percentage is given, and then we have to find this thing. So this is also ratio method. That is a column for cost price, selling price. We have these values and then we work it out. That's how this is to be done. So that is the final analysis of this chapter. And I hope everything is clear to you. In the next class, inshallah, we will be going over the past paper questions of this. For right now, I'll upload this lecture. I'll upload this PDF. Write down everything in your register. No compromise on that. I'll be asking from you to send me a scanned copy of your register. So if I'm talking about a register work, whether you call it a register, you call it a notebook. So what I need is that everything should be written over there. Everything jotted down. That's one thing. Second thing, make summary sheets. Like I have drawn over here, that should be on plain white A4 size printer paper. And be a little bit colorful. Use at least a red color, maybe a blue color, maybe a green color. Use 3 colors. And all those summary sheets over here, that should be in these 3 colors, red, blue, green, red, blue, purple, something like that, and just make those things. So now I'll be asking for a scanned copy later, but your duty is to fill in your register, and that completes lecture 2 of today. See you in the next class on Monday and on time. So now lecture 2 is completed. Signing off for today.